It's hyphened. There's no capital E.
Hyphened. Hyphened is definitely a word too. All right, we are on Inside and Out for our first map of this PvP. In the bottom left, this is our blue Protoss player. He's from Good Game Gaming. It's Cyan.
This one's my favorite. In the top right, this is Firefly. Oh, I actually did. Oh man, I have to remember what that stood for. I know it stands for skinny. It was like skinny or starving camel, still bigger than a horse. I think it was something like that. But it's an old Chinese proverb, and I even went through the effort of learning how to say it and pronounce it last season. I'm embarrassed to say that I've lost all of that ability. It's gone, flushed out of my system.
Interesting. How did you find that out?
It was from our man on the ground Runamok, I believe, last season.
Huh. Interesting.
Giving us some extra information. Or
well, you know.
pylon block. Both players are low ground expanding. One gate expands, and this is just part of one gate expand. You're gonna have to deal with a pylon in your natural. Sometimes a cyber core too.
Yeah. Bit of annoyance, but it's almost like the standard build here because they're so mirrored that it's just okay. We're both doing this. Gotta put up with it. Firefly, just a little ahead of the curve in the build there, but yeah, we'll be seeing those nexuses go down in just a little bit.
Indeed. And cyber core is going to be the choice here from Cyan. Obviously, it costs you an extra 150 minerals. You can cancel that. You get you get a bit of minerals back, but it is still a little bit more of an investment. But a few more hit points does delay the nexus a little bit longer, so it's kind of a stylistic choice.
Yeah, a bit of an annoyance. Maybe trying to disrupt the early game rhythm of your opponent. Get that slight advantage on the speed and the tech. As we can see, Cyan's already made his choice. Slap that down there. And he will have his tech a little bit sooner than his opponent.
Indeed. All right. You see a probe sort of sneakily hidden on the right side here where the third nexus would normally go. Firefly's probe gunned down in the prime of its life here by the Stalker. And we do have Firefly moving out with a couple Stalkers and one Zealot. Very normal, I'm trying to one gate expand and you've blocked me Gateway Army to just try and poke a bit, but I'm sure he's not.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Going up the high ground with that. A little risky.
Oh no.
A bit
Just
of
keep
stutter
moving.
step micro there. Yeah, he might have to give up the Zealot or something like that just to make sure the Stalker escapes.
Oh.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. This Firefly, I think, queued up that pylon before the Stalkers actually started to win the battle, but reinforcements from the natural and gets pushed back. And Cyan also putting a pylon across the map into Dasting.
Yeah, it is actually quite mirrored in that regard. They're both trying to do a little bit of pressure and dropping some proxy pylons. The probe here gets a full loop of the main base, sees what the tech is here, which is, of course, the Twilight Council for Firefly. Now, where's that first Oracle at? Oh, man, these Stalkers.
Yeah, Stalkers getting their damage done on the low ground here. Now, Cyan snuck a Stargate on us, while Firefly was assuming that Nexus was getting slapped down as soon as possible. There is a Stargate, which means that Oracles are out. Is there shield battery coverage in the natural? Is there shield battery coverage anywhere? There is a shield battery here. Okay, nice. And he spots the Oracle and shepherds it back. Good start here for Firefly.
Nicely done. So there is another one on the way. In fact, I think we're going up to 3 oracles from Cyan. This is the point where you get the one shot on the workers, and at the same time, he's actually in here with a pair of adepts. He must have slipped past those defenses. Get 6 probes. That's actually so good.
Now, there's also a pair of oracles coming in, which have the same effect. They will one-shot these probes, negating the efficacy. There's the word I was looking for. Of the shield battery. Cyan gets 6 probes, loses the Oracle though. I think still advantage Firefly here.
Firefly was quite ahead on the worker count there as well for a little bit. So while he did lose those probes, it sort of just evened the playing field economically there. Firefly now moving back out with his stalkers. Cyan, though, has quite a few units out on the map here, heading up towards his own proxy pylon. Firefly, did he spot that pylon?
He would have
Maybe
just
not
now as
quite.
the stalkers came through. Oh no, just there we go. To say he's just out of vision of it. Must have been by a hex. Getting some catch on these adepts though. Cyan bleeding quite a few units. He was ahead a bit in army supply until that moment.
Oh, this is a bit sticky. His stalkers are actually out in the middle of nowhere now.
Oh.
He does get the oracle though. That's pretty good.
Yeah, lovely pick off. Now Cyan's on the chase. And these adepts I think are going to finish that shade because they might be able to get that stalker with some body block action. Oh, just missed it.
Yeah, this is a problem, I think, because Firefly doesn't have that much stuff. Yes, he just finished Blink. He's getting his +1, but what does he actually have on the ground if Cyan keeps pressuring? Oh, well, hold on. If he's in two halves, that certainly doesn't bode well for Cyan. Oh, big stasis.
Yeah, I mean, one Oracle isn't going to bother with Pulsar Beam on those probes if there's a shield battery there, so Stasis Ward is the next best choice, and it ends up landing very nicely there. And the Cyan presence on the map is being very annoying for Firefly. It feels like he's been putting out fires all over his main and natural. He's trying to, mitigate the damage here of Cyan's presence. And Cyan's got himself a worker lead after being behind for quite a bit there in the workers. Now, ahead in pretty much every way.
Quite an aggressive early game there. Both of them looking to do some damage, whether it be with the Oracles or with the Adepts. That Oracle still trying to come in and find a little bit more damage. It's also getting a bit of scouting off when it comes in like that. But Firefly once again out on the move with a few of his forces as he takes that third base as well. Now, he's going to have +1 a lot quicker than his opponent.
All right, well, Cyan's Depths on the left side, sharking, looking for an opening to be able to sneak those shades in while while Firefly is not looking. And we do have the Dark Shrine going down for Cyan as well. Looks like he's in the driver's seat of this game. Advantages for Firefly is earlier +1 attack. Not sure what his Templar Archives tech is looking like, but the Adepts are in the main again. And this is definitely going to be a few more dead probes before they get cleaned up. Maybe, yep, so 4. I mean, not a good trade for 3 Adepts, but it's kind of something that Cyan can afford to do a little bit as he's up half a dozen probes at the moment. Faster third.
Yeah,
well.
he's done well to take the lead back there. I think with Firefly having the earlier third base, though, he should catch up pretty quick. He's still more or less keeping on with the probe production as well, going straight into the +2 attack. So I think he's going to have a really nice window here where his stuff is just better, and he might actually be able to do a bit of damage, if not win a nice fight. But we'll have to see how that DT shrine comes into play as well, because that could definitely be a spanner in the works.
Catch an Observer, drops a Revelation, guns it down. And Cyan has got a pretty nasty bowl of Stalkers here with Blink capabilities. Firefly immediately got into +2 attack as soon as +1 was done. And yeah, it looks like both players with Blink. Firefly heading into charge a little bit earlier. And I think that's so when I mentioned that Cyan's ahead in every way, I take that back. It seems like Firefly is ahead in like technology and upgrades, but is not as convincing an army in supply.
Blink versus Blink here, and Cyan decides to get on out of there. Might have clicked those stalkers and been like, oh, you have +1 and I don't, so I probably don't want to take this fight just yet. There is a small window here where they're going to be even.
BT's walking right over an Observer, but I don't think Firefly was looking at the minimap there for a second. BT's going to get right in that mineral line.
He's going to be too preoccupied with the stalkers on the front lines as well. 2 DTs coming in. And Firefly backs up into this shield battery location. He's got way more stalkers, but he needs to actually peel off a couple of units to help out.
He's like not reacting to the one in the main base. The one in the natural looks like it got cleaned up, but the one in the main is still going ham. 11 probes dead. Finally, this DT is going to be dealt with. Ooh, Firefly trying to make lemonade with these lemons. Killing a few stalkers for free on the front line here.
If he brings some detection, I think he could actually put some hurt on him.
I agree.
Because he has the upgrade advantage, plus he has a bunch more units. He's going to
have charge in a minute too with +2 attack. Charge is amazing in Blink versus Blink battles. So they just shred the stalkers. Oh, Cyan gets the Warp Prism, so that is going to take reinforcements off the table. Oh, no! Cyan blinks and forces Firefly into a stasis ward. Now Cyan's definitely got the Stalker numbers, but the charge lots, again, are just making things so tough for him with these Blink Stalkers.
Once those Stalkers unfreeze, Cyan's still going to be in a spot of bother with the amount of damage that's right here. He is getting more Stalkers, but so is Firefly, just rallying a few extras in. I think there's maybe another DT or something wandering into the natural of Firefly at the moment, going into the third base instead, where there's a cannon. So Firefly does still have an opportunity to get something done here.
Yeah, DT is being is whiffing over on the other side there for Cyan. Firefly's going to handle that without even needing to look at it. Rolls up into the natural. One Stalker took it for the team and fired off that stasis ward, and a big D power there. That pylon was powering a gateway, robo, and a couple shield batteries. Firefly's attack is not looking bad at all, and then got an extra prism rolling in, and now the charge lots are here. Once again, +2 attack and a really hard unit for Cyan to deal with on pure Stalker.
And he's going to get the Cyber Core too, meaning that Cyan is going to be stuck on Zealot warp-ins here. He's still got one Oracle that can't even help out, and he's really relying on that shield battery with the overcharge. Now he's actually sandwiching this army between two balls of Stalkers. Firefly's going to win on one side for sure, maybe with the extra warp-in with the second Warp Prism. He should have enough here for the other half of the engagement as well. Going to press him right back into that third base.
Yeah, Firefly looks like he's going to start this series off with a win here. He's just got a little bit too much. He's up about 14 army supply. Some of it's still in production over here at this Warp Prism. Stalker's getting a little bit too far away from the Warp Prism for the Zealots to come in and help. Oh, DT's being warped in defensively from Cyan, and they're hitting pretty hard here. They are a very high DPS unit, and they are really putting the hurt on a lot of these Stalkers and Zealots. See, a lot of them are still alive, but they're very deep in the red. And Firefly, he looked like he was about to close it out, but he is, definitely ahead. But hasn't quite sealed the deal on Cyan just yet. Hasn't closed the lid of the coffin, but these charge lots, I think, might do it. It's a lot of charge lots.
Yeah. I'd actually like to see him come back with a vision, though, because those DTs will clean this up. This is actually a little bit silly of him, I feel, because the other thing is, while he is taking a fourth base, he's not probing behind this. He's got a lot of money to do so as well.
I kind of just assumed if he's coming in with this big attack of charge lots that an observer is with the army. I did not actually see it, so that's my bad, guys. The observer arrives this time, but this time rolling in only with 4 charge lots. I mean, still a big army supply lead, don't get me wrong. This is still very, very scary for Cyan.
Yeah, there we go. He should have it in the bag now with the detection. The probes being pulled. There's only 4 Stalkers left here for Cyan. The DTs are doing some work on the other side of the map. And he might get a whole bunch of probes there as well, but I don't know that he can ever deal with this army from Firefly.
Yeah, both players are going to take big econ damage, but this Nexus is straight up dead. And there's a 4th for Firefly over in the bottom right. The Shadow Stride DTs messing with the Blink Stalkers there. They're blinking on top of each other, trying to get on top of melee range, trying to get out range, trying to kite.
Oh my goodness, DTs do so much damage.
What a weird game.
Yeah, that's really what Cyan's banking on here, that the DTs will do so much that Firefly will eventually have to go home, or that it will eventually have too much warping in on the front lines for Cyan,
oh my God,
excuse me, for Firefly to continue the attack. But there seems to be just enough to keep going with the Cybercore being sniped, the Sim City being whittled down. No shield batteries in play here at the front either.
Well, the DTs have come home. Again, the Observer is with the army, though.
That Robo depowered. He can't get an obs of his own to snipe that one either. There's now 2 up here. Oh, is he going to go for a Shadow Stride blink on around the backside? Oh, yeah. Ooh, but is he going to be quick enough? Firefly's coming in and starting to target down some Stalkers already. There may not be much left. This
flank might have been a little ill-timed, but it, yeah. A good idea, but definitely left those Stalkers in the natural a little bit exposed on their lonesome. Oh, going for that shield battery. Shield battery goes down. That's the static defense there for Cyan. And that'll be that. Took him a while to close it out, but Firefly does get the win for map 1 against the favored blue Protoss Cyan. Well done.
Very nicely done. That was an action-packed game too. There was very rarely a moment where they were leaving each other alone on that map.
Yeah, certainly. And yeah, wow. I did not expect Jaishi to look that strong in that game. And we knew that he had the chops, but great to see him actually execute and take him down and gain number 1. Whew, got ourselves a cool little PvP spicing up here. We're going to take a break. When we return, let's get back to it. We'll see you after then. G'day, StarCraft fans, and welcome back to the DreamHack Masters main event here for China. I am Maynard. With me is Zeph. I nearly said pig. Whoa, how embarrassing. That'd be very offensive. But we do have Firefly currently up 1-0 against Cyan, who I feel is pretty favored in the series, so the underdog is definitely clapping back.
Yeah, it's looking good. It's a really aggressive game on both sides, but Firefly just seemed to have it on lock. He was a little bit ahead in the economy. Most of that game, Cyan inched ahead a few times, but I think having that lead to begin with helped him out when he was losing probes to the various things that Cyan was throwing at him, and he just seemed to have a bit of a better hold on the game than his opponent in the end. DT's doing Cyan some favors, but not enough to close out the game. So very keen to see what map number 2 holds. It looks like both of them are keen to play that sort of mid to late game.
That's right, and I think it's Data C as well, if I'm not mistaken, which is, can lend itself to that kind of video game as well. So it's the standard maps tend to do, especially the underwater ones.
That's exactly right. So we'll see what they have in store here. If you're just joining us, Cyan does statistically have the advantage, and he has been the one that enters the finals quite often against Time. So,
and he's a previous champion as well. He's actually beaten Time in the grand final.
One time.
He's the only one that isn't Time that has been champion of China.
Yeah. So that's a pretty big claim to fame. But Firefly is that guy who's just always on the cusp, but not quite getting there consistently. But this could be the time. I think he just didn't make it out of groups last time around, so it would be really great to see him hop in there, get that top 4, and show what he's got. Because if he's performing well in PvP against Cyan, that's one of the biggest hurdles to you getting to the finals, to be honest.
Yeah. A top 4 without, Cyan, Firefly, Time, and either Coffee or XY just feels weird. To not have your 2 Terrans, your 2 Protosses, and those particular Terrans and those particular Protosses tend to be the ones that make that top 4. It's like you kind of need to sub someone out. Like I said, either Coffee makes it or XY makes it, either Jaishi makes it or Firefly makes it. But there will not be a top 4 without Time or Cyan. Put it that way. It's extremely strange to not see that happen. I mean, if it happens this season, it'll be a first.
Yeah, exactly right. But I suppose the upside of that is that you know exactly who you have to prepare for, and there's so many games from these guys. They're on stream. You play them in every other tournament for your local region as well. So maybe that preparation enables them to take a map or 2 and eventually a series. But let's see how we go. We're here in the top right-hand side of Data C against our blue Protoss. He's from Good Game Gaming. This is Cyan.
And in the bottom left from Chaussée-l'Ortois. That's right. Your boy practiced in the break. This is Firefly. Stands for Skinny Camel.
I'm impressed. Well done.
Thank you. It was all about impressing you. I don't really care about everyone else.
I know. I figured.
Okie dokie. So we do have a pretty fast Nexus going down for Cyan. It's like a 1-gate expand for Firefly as well, though. So not the biggest of deals. Firefly going to go for Cybercore before the Nexus. Cyan went Gate Nexus.
Yeah, Cyan went straight for it. Perhaps not interested in allowing the probe to get in and potentially start messing around and blocking stuff once more, but having that slight edge on the probes can definitely make the difference in the long run. If you're losing a couple here and there to some harassment like we saw in the previous game, be it at depths, be it oracles, definitely save you some pain down the track.
So the faster path to the Cybercore here for Firefly, what's he going to do with it? Going to go for the Stargate. All right. Got the 150, 150. Slaps it down. Cyan has a pylon in the middle of the map. And he is going to proxy the gateway. So the faster Nexus is going to use it to be aggressive. Excellent.
Yeah. Get those speedy warp ins. Put that pressure on. Not a full wall off or anything here, but a nice spot for a friendly unit to sit in that gap. But the question is, will Firefly discover this structure out in the middle of nowhere? Because that's a pretty sure sign that you're going to be getting some friends visiting you very soon. And with a Stargate coming out, the Oracle isn't the greatest help.
No, a Void Ray would be amazing. But yeah, so Cyan's going to go for a couple of gateways worth of pressure here on the front line. With Warp Gate finishing up, it's going to be 3 gates worth of Stalker pressure. And he'll be able to warp in right in Firefly's face at that pylon. So it gets the fast warp in next to the gateway.
Yeah, nice early
Oracle
aggression,
fly over,
initial
I think.
stalk poke.
Yep. Howdy, neighbor.
Yeah, there you go. And that is very handy information to have. Now, he is chronoing the second Oracle out here. So we will have that one-shot potential if both of those go over the other side of the map at the same time. There's a Stalker waiting here for the first Oracle, though, and he is going to pick up 3 workers right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, no shield battery covering these workers, unfortunately, not until this one finishes in the natural. And Firefly, I think, very smartly here, going for the Void Ray. Stasis Ward going to catch 2 of those Stalkers because, you know, he needs to rely on things like Stasis Wards, like shield batteries, because he's only got 1 gateway right now. 1 gate with the production and the Stargate.
Yeah, really nice delay tactics, and that buys more time for that Void Ray to get chronoed out. And Cyan, obviously mindful of that. With the shield batteries here, it should have fairly good longevity against these units. But at the same time, Cyan has to think about these Oracles coming in.
And as the Void Ray count gets higher and higher, the Stalkers really need to meet it mano a mano with, like, you know, 2 to 3 per Void Ray. It's quite a good match for the guy that's defending with the Void, especially going up a ramp into a couple shield batteries. It's very, very tough. Oh, catches that Oracle there. Obviously no blink, because Cyan's just started his Twilight Council, but still a nice catch on that Oracle. Does mean that he can't just laser beam these probes. Shield battery be damned. Gonna have to go for Stasis Ward instead, but can't afford it. It's gonna have to just fly over and leave.
Clicks on that, not Stargate, Twilight Council, I should say, and just checks out what the tech is going to be as the follow-up for Cyan. And considering he has so many Stalkers, I mean, that kind of makes sense, right? And now that the Voids are out, he's going to have a little look, but he's got to be careful not to lose that. That's a very important unit for the defense, because that's still a lot of Stalkers out here from Cyan.
And potentially a huge Stasis Ward, and there it goes. Catches 6 Stalkers on the ramp there. Cyan just kind of needs to watch it and just go, damn, this could have been really good. It's slowing down the flow of Stalkers, but it's still a lot of Stalkers. And overcharged shield battery getting kicked in maybe a little early. He's just trying to keep that cyber core up as long as possible.
Yeah, not interested in rebuilding one of those right now. He's just waiting for the first Immortal to come out. Then he'll feel a little bit safer. And with the Void Ray, I think, you know, that's a fairly good combo to hold this off. Still got to be careful, though, because Cyan does still have a bunch. One false move and he can jump on your stuff and target down a key unit.
Oh, good Adept Shade in the main base with 3 Adepts. Going to be some probe damage for sure. 5 going down, not bloody bad. Oh, getting these pylons would be nice. Potentially fire supply block, as I was saying. I was going to say fire block. Supply fire. That's the sentence my brain was trying to say. Oh, double Oracle. Got a second Oracle coming out here and gunning down these probes. Probe damage for probe damage. Both players are just assaulting each other's working lines. Another double Adept rolling into the main base of Firefly. Oh my god. It's a probicide on both players.
Cyan's getting the better end of this deal, though. He's got Firefly pinned in his base. He's getting more and more worker kills. And while he has lost some of his own, Cyan does have Link almost finished, and he's ahead on that +1. I do like the Immortals and the Void Ray here for Firefly.
Very anti-stalker.
Yeah. I don't know if it's enough for him to be able to sort of boldly move out and try and take a fight or anything. But
Insano's
something.
Insano's actually showing us that there is a bit of a bank here for Firefly. Now, if I wasn't mistaken, I think earlier in the production tab, I did see like 5 gateways go down for Firefly, so he should be able to make a ton of units, and there we go. Big warp into Stalkers. Still a bit of a gas bank, but the blink in the main base. Cyan going for the Void Ray, but overextends somewhat. The Void Ray survives.
Okay, hold up.
Yeah.
You don't want to be losing Stalkers like that, and more workers are going down. I actually starting to like this for Firefly.
Yeah, Firefly is definitely winning this game right now. A double Oracle just left. Oh.
This is going to be a bit difficult for Cyan now, I think. Firefly is supply blocked, which is a bit frustrating for him, but he can clean this up. and then he can go and try and pressure the third or go straight into the nat.
I think go
He
up the
does
guts with
have
this
the
army.
better stuff.
Yeah, I think you go up the guts. I think you just go up there. Just kill him. What's he going to do? Blink on your 3 immortals? Good luck, mate.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much damage now that he's got 3 of them. Cyan trying to get some more gateways in the mix and add in his own immortals, but at the moment he's stuck with just a few blink stalkers, and that's really not going to cut it against all of this firepower from Firefly, who's now marching up this third base ramp. The Oracle's coming in as a distraction. Looks like Cyan's on top of that, but the aggressive Blinky takes out the shield battery.
Yeah, Cyan is desperately trying to fight out of range of these immortals because they are slapping the cheeks of the stalkers of Cyan, and Cyan is bleeding resources, Seth. Yes, he got rid of the oracles, but he is not stopping this attack. Firefly is just dominating this front line. Does it say sword go off? All right, Cyan manages to avoid that, but I mean, the real story is this army knocking on his natural's door. This is just terrifying. He's got his own immortal in the mix, but it has been outnumbered 3 times here by Firefly's attacking force. Prism arrives now, so now he can warp in right in front of Cyan's face, and he is more than double the army supply. Even with the +1 attack advantage for Cyan, he doesn't have enough units to make the difference, I don't think. There it is. Firefly with a 2-0 victory. The only series that Cyan has lost in the last 21